No,
smiling?
no, that's okay. It just be Sara T.
Okay.
That's it. That's it.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Oh, here we go. All right. Here we go. Today I'm back with another client interview. And today I'm with Sara Timberlake. Sara T, say what's up.
What's up?
And so to start, we'll start by kind of getting into a little bit about you. So, who are you? What do you do for work? Where are you from? Kind of just a little bit of background about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Sarah. Like Louis said, I work in a customer service position, so I do a lot of sitting all day, a lot of typing, sitting at my computer. Um, I grew up in Kentucky, but I have lived in the Inland Empire for about 11 or 12 years now. So,
Nice. And in back in Kentucky, did you play sports at all when you were younger?
no, not athletic at all. I trip walking in a straight line. Super. I was not into any physical fitness back then.
And then when did you start kind of getting into lifting and fitness?
It was probably about a decade ago. I started lifting. Um, didn't really have a whole lot of direction. I was following like bodybuilding videos I saw online
Hmm.
just about lifting. I joined a 24-hour fitness, and was just kind of playing around there for a while. And then several years ago, I had a friend who was coaching at a CrossFit gym who invited me to come try it out. And then that's where I met you.
Boom. Right into the next question. Uh,
It
how did you find me? And it was at the CrossFit gym, right?
was at the CrossFit gym. Yes. And I had somebody else writing my program for me. And they were kind of like, it was a virtual program. They were available sometimes, they were not available sometimes. So I always came in the evening. You were coaching in the evening, and I'd always ask you for pointers. And we were kind of talking and vibing. And yeah, then I found out you were a personal trainer coach outside of CrossFit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's funny too, because I remember that too when I would see you in the evenings and you would be like deadlifting. I'd be like, dang, like she's so freaking strong, like on the deadlift, like that's crazy. And then I would always ask you too, like, oh, like, do you follow a program? Like just curious because I wanted to know, like, how did you get so fucking strong? And and so I was curious about it. And you had told me that somebody was writing your program for you. And so I had, continued to coach you when you would take my classes and things like that. So then what made you, was it the other coaches like lack of availability, or like kind of what made you want to come work with me specifically instead if you already had another coach?
Um, well, it wasn't really a coach. It was just more like, hey, I want to get stronger, especially my deadlift. And he wrote a deadlift program.
Okay.
Um, but especially deadlifting. I remember there was a CrossFit class where I don't remember if it was like 3 rep max, 5 rep max, something that we were doing in class. And I was like, hey, I'm supposed to do pause deadlifts today. Can I do this instead? And you were like, yeah, sure. And then you like talked me through it and gave me a bunch of like push, 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 push at the
Hmm.
end. And I was like, oh, okay. So he might be a good coach to work with because like that's exactly what I needed right this second.
Right. Awesome. Well, I'm glad I was able to do that just by
Right.
happenstance.
Yeah.
And did you have any like doubts or concerns about like wanting to work with me before we started?
I'm sorry, Louis, you cut out for a second.
Oh, my question was just, did you have any doubts or concerns about like hiring me on basically and bringing me on as your coach, or was it just pretty straightforward, no-brainer decision? Oh, lost the audio. There you go.
Yeah. Blowing up still. Okay. You want to start the whole thing over, or are you just going to edit
No,
this part out?
we can just pick it back up. It's no big deal.
Okay. Sorry.
That's fine.
Okay.
Uh,
Go ahead.
did you hear my question or no?
Not at all.
Okay, so the question was just, if before we started working together, did you have any doubts or concerns maybe about us working together, or how was that decision-making process?
No, I enjoyed having you as a CrossFit coach.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I really like coming to your classes already. And I knew like, hey, he's giving the right verbal cues when I'm stuck on this stupid deadlift.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he's going to be a pretty good coach, and we get along, and we like the same music and that sort of thing. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is going to be totally no doubts about that at all.
Nice. Yeah. 3 days grace, right?
Yeah, that's when I knew we were going to be the perfect team when you listen to 3 Days Grace in a workout for sure.
That's funny. And so actually I forgot to ask this in the beginning, but how long do you know off the top of your head how long we've been working together for now?
No, probably 2 or 3 years. Well, maybe even longer than that because it was like maybe before COVID, right?
I want to say it was in June of 2020, so maybe like in the middle of it.
Okay,
I
maybe in the
think
middle of COVID.
I know it was
Okay,
June specifically, and actually let me I can actually pull it up real quick because I thought I was thinking about it the other day when I had asked you to do this interview, and I was like, man, I'm like we've been working
for a
together
long
for
time. Yeah.
quite some. Here we go. Oh, it was June, but it was 2021, so two
Okay,
years, a little over two
two
years.
years.
Cool. Which I mean, that I love it, obviously.
I mean, me
Um,
too.
but yeah, it's been great so far. And so, what has been like? What are some things that kind of like you've learned kind of like along the way over the 2 years, and like maybe kind of sum it up into one like or two things, or if you like kind of break it up because if you think now that I'm thinking about it, like the 2 years that we've been working together, it really has been um like a journey, like I'm already
Yeah,
starting to think back
sure.
like okay, like certain injuries like not related to like the gym or here things here and there, sickness, like just a whole lot's happened in 2 years just like in
Right, a
anybody's
whole
life.
lot has happened. Yeah.
And so kind of what have you kind of learned like along the way so far?
Um. So one, I've gotten a whole lot stronger. Um. And then one big thing that I've learned is kind of like how to work through some of those adversities, I guess.
Hmm.
Since you and I have been working together, I've had COVID multiple times.
Yeah.
Um, that like really knocked me out. I've had a surgery, I had an unrelated knee injury, and then I've just had like life happen, like you said.
Hmm.
Um, and through it all, you kind of like met me where I was and
Hmm.
said, "Oh, you have a knee injury. You're in a knee splint. You can't deadlift in a knee splint. You can't squat. But let's work on your shoulders. Let's work on your upper body stuff, and let's develop some of that right now." And
Hmm.
so I've kind of learned different ways to like, just because you're injured doesn't mean you're out of the game. Like you just have to work around it.
Yeah.
Um, and I've made like steady progress through all of it. So there might be like momentary setbacks, after my knee was injured. Obviously, the first time I started squatting again, it felt like crap.
Hmm.
But get back into the motion of it, and then within a couple weeks, I'm stronger than I was before.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I would also say that I've learned that like a structured program is way better than just winging it because you can look up, there's a million people online that you can follow and fitness influencers and things like that. But having somebody like you to work with and say, okay, this is what Sara wants to work on, needs to work on, whatever, and writing that program for me and following up with that program and saying, oh, this isn't getting you the results you want, let's switch over to this. That makes a huge difference.
Awesome. Wow. I'm glad you said that. Those are like really pretty spot on actually with kind of a good way to sum everything up. Like you said, life has happened and it continues to happen, and um, learning how to, like I said, focus on what you can do instead of just kind of dwelling on it or working around it. Like there's always a way to work around it. So I mean, that's
Right,
pretty
for sure.
solid.
Yeah.
That's a, that's great. And so what would life be like if we had like never started working together like 2 years ago? Like, what do you think would be like now?
Um, I think I wouldn't be as strong, definitely.
Mhm.
And one of the benefits I get, especially from having this pretty structured program of like, this is the workout you're doing on Tuesday, this is the workout you're doing on Thursday,
Mhm.
is that um, it's kind of like a mental health check as well. So no matter how crappy the day was at work or how tired I am or I stayed up too late the night before, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this hour and a half, whatever it is, for myself, do this, and then you know, even if you may not want to do the workout at the beginning, always 10 or 15 minutes in, you're feeling great. So
Mhm.
your mood is a lot better. At least mine, my mood improves drastically over the course of a workout. Um, and you know, you feel better about yourself. You accomplished it. Hey, I did that workout. It was hard. I had a tough day at work. I'm tired, whatever, but I did it. And so, and then you know, I don't know. To me, I feel more confident after I've done a workout just because like I conquered that. That's cool.
Mhm.
So if I wasn't working with you, I'd probably just be winging it, going to a big box gym and, you know, messing around with the weights. Not, I don't know, not making as much progress, definitely.
Gotcha, gotcha. And so it's kind of cool because you kind of answered my other question in the same phrasing basically, because what I was going to ask you next is kind of like what is it like now that you know we're 2 years into this and you had already been lifting and doing fitness before, but just being on this program and having coaching, like you said, it's just is all around improved. Like you're stronger. It helps you with your stress, mental health, that kind of thing.
Definitely.
And what's crazy too is that we didn't really touch on this either, but I'm glad you brought up the mental health thing. But two, also, in the beginning, we like made like a lot of progress in your strength and abilities too, but then also too, as well as like your like body composition and things like that too. So like that, I think like that has changed a
Yeah,
lot since we started working together too, because
definitely.
you like I said, you like got like healthier, like all around, not just stronger, which is great because that's what you wanted, that's what you came to me for. But then, like I said, just overall health and fitness has improved. Would you agree with me on that? Maybe I'm just
Definitely.
spitballing.
No, 100%. Yeah, I would agree with you for sure.
And perfect,
Definitely.
same thing like you said too. You're like just overall more like confident after a workout. And
Yeah, for
does
sure.
does anything like do like people treat you differently, or do you notice if people treat you differently like when you are like kind of like just really like in the zone with like working out and stuff like that?
Um, you mean people like at the gym or like people in my life?
No, just people in your life in general, kind of like people around you. Like do they see you and they're just like, man, Sarah's like really on her shit right now, like she's working out every day, like she's doing this, she's doing all these things, like you know, like how are other people reacting to
Mm,
you?
not really. Um, I know like a couple of the people that I work with in my department,
Hmm.
they work out and they like always talk to each other like, oh, well, I did legs today. Oh, I did
Hmm.
arms today or whatever. And one day I said something about like, oh man, my knees hurt from my workout last night. And they were like, oh, what did you do? And I said, I squatted and I told them what weight I had squatted and both of their mouths dropped like, and I was like, what? You guys talk about working out literally every day. And they were like, not like that. So, um, yeah, I mean, unless somebody brings it up in conversation, it's not something that really, you know, is a conversation. But
Uh-huh. Right.
yeah,
Right.
but it was funny. They both just looked at me like, what did you say?
Yeah, you're like, what? Like, I thought you guys worked
So,
out.
what? I thought you worked out every day. And they were like, yeah, machines. Not like
Oh, yeah.
that. Like, you just lifted that? Like, yeah, it's kind of the point.
Well said, well said.
Yeah. So,
Awesome. Okay, so last question. What would you say to someone that was thinking about like getting a coach or working with me specifically, like if they were on the fence about it or if they had any reservations, what would you tell them?
I would say definitely do it. Um, like I said earlier, Louis, you specifically are very good at meeting me, I'm assuming all of your clients, where we are in our fitness journey. Um, whether there's an injury or whether you're super focused and like, hey, I want to train super duper hard for this. Um, you are good at seeing what I need at least to progress. Um, and exactly how hard to push me and you know, and you take a lot of feedback too. If I say like, hey, this was super hard, I need some more help on this. That's when we meet up in person, go over a movement, go over some practice. Um, and so I think that's really, really beneficial. Um, and I would say, you know, I talked a couple of times about it being really structured, but you're also really flexible. Like I just told you before we started this video that, oh, I didn't work out Tuesday, but I moved Tuesday's workout to Wednesday and I'm moving Wednesday's workout to today. So you get that life happens. Like you're a brand new dad, right? Life
Yeah.
definitely happens. Stuff gets in
Yeah.
the way. Um, and it's, there's a level of responsibility and, transparency that we have to have.
Mhm.
But you totally get it. Like, yeah, Tuesday was a long day at work. You went home and you did whatever. Okay, cool. Just get it done. So you're a very good coach, I would say. So definitely do it.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And after working together for 2 years, we can read each other's minds. So
Yeah, basically.
perfect. I can predict the questions.
All right, Sarah. Well, thank you so much for hopping on this call with me and this interview.
Awesome. Definitely.
I'm definitely glad that we did this, and it was great to hear all your feedback. And of course,
For sure.
always love getting your feedback when we hop on our coaching calls too. So, all I have to say is just it's a blast coaching you. And if I didn't want to coach
Hey.
you for the past 2 years, like I definitely wouldn't. So the feeling is mutual.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. I have a lot of respect for you as a coach,
Well,
and
thank
as a
you.
person too. So that, that helps. So